All right, I'd like to call this meeting of the Villa Park Village Board to order. Today's Monday, May 6th at 7 p.m. And if Clerk Kornecki could please call the roll.
Yes, Trustee Aiello, Trustee Salela.
Here.
Trustee Kazone.
Here.
Trustee Case. Trustee Tucker.
Here.
Trustee Wagner.
Here.
President Volpus.
Here. Let's all rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. The next item is public comments on agenda items. We only have a number of things on the agenda. Is there anybody signed up?
I have nobody
Okay.
talking on that.
Seeing none, any amendments to the agenda from the board? Seeing none, okay, we'll move to item 5, proclamation. Here it is. This is Lupus Awareness Month, and whereas lupus is a chronic autoimmune disease that causes inflammation of various parts of the body, particularly skin, heart, joints, and kidneys, and whereas 1.5 million Americans have been diagnosed with lupus, which strikes women 9 times more frequently than it does men. And whereas, although lupus ranges from mild to life-threatening, the majority of cases can be managed with proper treatment. And whereas early diagnosis of proper treatment are critical to the improvement of the quality of life and survival rate of lupus sufferers. And whereas lupus impacts more than just the life of the patient, it affects the parents, family, friends, co-workers, employers, and community. And whereas increased public awareness, education, and research are the key to winning the battle against lupus. Now therefore, I, Albert Bulthus, President of Villa Park, do hereby recognize May 2019 as Lupus Awareness Month and urge each citizen to observe this month by educating themselves on the symptoms and impact of lupus. So we have some representatives here that from Lupus Awareness or have family members that are involved in it or have it. Welcome to make a comment, Lisa. That'd be fine.
Thank you. I appreciate this being made aware. I advocate on behalf of the Lupus Research Alliance. I represent my father, who has been living in remission from lupus for the past 30 plus years, and also my best friend. With me is Joanna. She is with Lupus Research Alliance. And I just find that it's a very important cause. More people need to be made aware of this disease and what we can do to help and to fight it and to find a cure. And one of the fun things that we have coming up in the first weekend in June is a Lupus Walk, which is at Northwestern University. And then towards the end, actually at the beginning of fall, there's going to be a Zumbathon at the Iowa Community Center for raising money for the Lupus Research Alliance as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Got a little plaque here for you. Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. Item 6A is the bill listing for the week of April 29th, 2019 in the total amount of $388,897.75. And 6B is the minutes from the board meeting held on April 22nd, 2019. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Mr. President, we'll make that motion.
Trustee Kazone and Trustee Tucker, second.
I will second that motion.
Any questions? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Salela.
Yes.
Trustee Kazone.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
President Volpus.
Yes. Okay, the next item is basically we've got some plaques for the retiring board members. This one here is Chris Aiello, just as an example. And I just want to say thank you to the board members who are retiring. Chris Aiello, he's always been one of his main issues that he's always keeping an eye on while he was on the board was the pension funds and make sure that those were all funded properly. So I thank him for that and for keeping that in front of us all the time. And I also want to thank Trustee Case for the time that he spent on the board. one thing about Trustee Case, you always knew where he stood. So he was always very blunt, and you knew what his point of views were, and, you know, there's rarity in that on a public board, so I thank him for that. So we'll give those plaques to the gentleman sometime this week. With that, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. Trustee Kuzone, you got it. Trustee Wayner?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Do I have a second? Trustee
Second.
Seelow? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so this meeting's adjourned. We're going to move on now to the swearing in of the new elected officers by Honorable Judge Robert Kleeman. And we'll get a little set up here first, and then we'll move on to that.
You guys want me to help you? You all right?
If they're not, we're in trouble.
No way.
Digital podcast.
Huh?
Just everything.
Okay, we're ready. Who we got first? David Solella?
You tell them how to say it.
Yeah.
I may move out of the way so I'm not in the photos.
Good idea.
I, David Solella,
I did so.
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of trustee of the Village of Villa Park
of trustee of the Village of Villa Park
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
So we have that.
Christine Murphy. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Christine Murphy,
I, Christine Murphy,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of trustee of the Village of Villa Park
of trustee of the Village of Villa Park
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Kevin Patrick.
Heated it up.
I, Kevin Patrick. Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of trustee of the Village of Villa Park
of trustee of the Village of Villa Park
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Oh, look at this.
Well, now that the new trustees are sworn in, we're bringing you your homework. So, there's a packet here for Christine, and a packet here for Patrick. So, these are for you. Welcome aboard. Come on, have a seat, because we're going to have a little short meeting.
Do they have an agenda?
Christine?
It's on the
Yeah.
plate.
Christine.
Oh,
She was asking me a question.
Thank you, guys.
I think it started the day after the election, actually. Just not officially.
buy it.
Don't even go there. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, and I'd like to call this meeting into order with the new trustees. And Trustee Kornicki, could you call the roll, please?
Yes, trustee Salella,
Here.
trustee Kazone,
Here.
trustee Patrick,
Here.
trustee Tucker,
Here.
trustee Wagner,
Here.
trustee Murphy,
Here.
President Bolkus.
Here. We have one item on the agenda is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving the sale of a surplus property owned by the Village of Villa Park. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Public Works Truck Number 4, a 1998 Navistar 4900, is in deteriorating condition and was recently replaced. Representatives of the Salt Creek Sanitary District contacted village staff and are interested in purchasing the 98 Navistar 4900 as is for $15,000. This vehicle is no longer needed, therefore staff recommends selling this vehicle to the Salt Creek Sanitary District. Proceeds from the sale of this vehicle will be placed into the Equipment Replacement Fund to be used to purchase additional equipment. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, do I have a motion for the ordinance?
Make that motion.
Trustee Tucker, do I have a second? Trustee Sala? Any questions or comments? Trustee Sala?
Just to refresh my memory, was that vehicle equipped with a plow out there?
I don't remember.
Yeah, number 4.
I don't know.
I'm just trying to,
Rich Salerno is going to answer that question. That's the one equipped with the broken frame.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
The president is correct. Yes, it was an old plow truck, 1998, that with a cracked frame.
but it was being removed with and sold with the plowing equipment and whatnot?
With the plow.
Or I was just trying to put that against the value that was offered on it.
Sure. Yeah, the sanitary district did not want the salt spreader or the spinner, but we had no value for the plow itself, so we included the plow with it.
That's all I got.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Yes, trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Salella.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
President Bolkus.
Yes. Item 13 is public comment on non-agenda items. Clerk Konecki, do we have anyone?
Yes, Wendy Granrath has a non-agenda item.
Good evening. Just a couple quick questions. On Saturday at the Breakfast with the Board, or Coffee with the Board, I had asked the question of where the advertising was going to come through for the pool demolition. I know President Bolkus, it's only a couple of days. Were you able to find out, or perhaps we have the people in attendance that can let us know
Yeah.
if this is going to be, how it's going to be handled?
Sure. Yeah, I didn't have time.
I realize
Any
that.
time to find out. Does Rich Salerno know the process on advertising for bids? What? I think they're handling it. Or is Greg Ola handling it? All right. Basically, where is it advertised?
It will be advertised in the newspaper, specifically the Daily Arrow.
And approximately how long does that take to get bids, or how long, what's the window that you have that's open?
2.5 weeks, about 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks. What happens if you don't get 3 bids, people that are willing to submit bids?
There's no requirement, I think, that there has to be 3 bids, right?
Responsible bid.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that it does not, you don't have to have 3 at
No.
that point?
No, we have to have 3 proposals, but bids, it's whatever happens.
Okay, and is that where the problem lies with the halting the demolition, was with the 3 proposals?
As opposed to public
Bids.
advertisement.
Okay. And whose responsibility would that have been to make sure we were doing that properly?
Well, we don't, that's everybody's responsibility, everybody on the board, so I'm not going to pick out any one person.
I
so-
just didn't know if it fell within
No.
one area, or making sure that
Mhm.
we're following the letter of the law. My second question was regarding the feasibility study. We've gotten some conflicting information. One department is saying that they believe it is in, and then we have the president of the or the chairman of the
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec, saying she doesn't know anything about it. So could Greg let us know on that?
Thank you for the question. The feasibility study, the drafts are in. We have information from Pros Consulting. The survey came in. They've already provided with some of the demographic items. So he's putting together an executive summary, and he'll make his presentation in June.
Who is doing that?
The Pros Consultants.
Okay. And will the public be allowed to view the document?
It'll be presented at the board meeting, and prior to that, the executive summary will go to the Recreation Commission for their review.
Will that be prior to it being presented to the board?
That'll be at the Recreation Commission meeting on
Okay,
the summary.
so if we want to see it then or hear about it? I'm just
It'll be in
concerned.
a draft form,
Okay.
so it'll be ready for release, but it'll be in a draft form. The commission.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then one last thing, is anybody going to speak about the, I believe it's Communities Against Cancer, the Relay for Life? Does anyone have anything for that?
I don't have it.
I just read about it in the Villa Park Independent.
Well, you, go ahead, you got the
And
mic.
what they have done now, did you read about it, Christine?
not seen it.
It's Elmhurst, Lombard, Addison, and Villa Park is listed, and they're all going to take place towards the end of May. It's the Relay for Life, and they're putting it together, and it's going to be at York High School. And they encourage anyone, you can go on the Relay for Life website, but it's a community event, not an individual town event. So I thought that's something, didn't know if you were going to be sharing it or not.
Haven't seen anything.
All right.
Thank you for your comments. Okay. With that, we'll go to the President's report, and I just want to say welcome to the new board members.
Thank you.
Your life is going to change, so your free time is going to get less. So appreciate you for willingness to serve in this capacity. So welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President, I'll make that motion.
Trustee Kazone, you have a second. Trustee Wagner?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that we're adjourned. We'll be back on the 20th at 7 o'clock. I'd like to invite everyone to the Sugar Creek Golf Course for a welcome reception to the new board members. And the lady who got the Lupus Award, she's the bartender there, so she's already on her way. So welcome aboard, and see you at the golf course.
I want to get a picture of